The New Jersey Devils going through the strangely timed coaching change when they parted ways with Peter DeBoer. Lou Lamoriello takes over behind the bench, working in conjunction with Scott Stevens and Adam Oates. And here's Ken Daneyko, who will work the broadcaster angle. Is there a coach for every aspect of this organization now?
I'm the only guy they haven't called out of the broadcast booth yet, I guess, guys. But it is a unique situation, and Lou's done this before. This isn't something that's completely new through the time, a long time I've been in New Jersey and with Lou Lamoriello. But I just think it buys him some time and some options here. He's not 100% sure, obviously. I mean, from my take, who he wants to be head coach for this hockey club moving forward, and I guess we will find that out in the future. But your guess is as good as mine what his thought process is with this. I know he likes having the familiarity of Scott Stevens and Adam Oates and their philosophy, and having worked with them before, I think that was a big reason for the move and the way he did it.
Were you surprised that he made the change, and if not surprised about the change, about the timing of the change?
Well, I never really get surprised. I've been with Lou for 27 years now, whether it be as a player in the organization, and not a whole lot surprises me. I guess I was surprised the fact that he didn't come in with a name and a guy walked through the door in the press conference that somebody would go, "Wow, we didn't expect that person to be the head coach of the New Jersey Devils," because he's done that before, where it is a big surprise because he keeps everything close to the vest, as you guys know. So when it was Scott Stevens, Adams, Oates, it actually made sense to me, having been with Lou so long, the fact that the familiarity factor of it. Look, Pete DeBoer is a good coach, fellas, in my opinion, a real good coach, and a lot of players respected him. But when your team goes through times like this, doesn't matter the cards he's dealt, doesn't matter the injuries, doesn't matter what personnel he has in the lineup, or any coach for that matter. That's part of the business, unfortunately, for coaches, and it's not an envious position, but they weren't winning, they weren't getting things done, and obviously something has to happen to shake up your organization, and Pete DeBoer was the one who ended up taking the fall for it, and right or wrong, we know that's not always right, that's for sure, but they felt they needed a different voice and something moving forward, yet Lou Lamoriello didn't know exactly which guy, or there was a guy out there right now, and it could be Scott Stevens or Adam Oates in the future. We don't know that yet, but I feel a little bad for Pete because he's a great guy, a very intelligent man, and a heck of a hockey coach, and I don't think he'll be out of the game that long.
Ken, the question from the media conference that kind of stuck with me was Mr. Lamoriello was asked about hiring a permanent guy and that he was given permission to hire somebody beyond the season. And he said it wouldn't have been fair to bring in somebody into this particular scenario. And when I've been asking around the league about that, people are wondering if that means that he didn't want to hire somebody who might be working for a new general manager because maybe this might be it for him. Have you heard that or thought about it at all, that maybe this might be his final season?
Well, look, guys, that's a tough question. I mean, you'd certainly have to ask ownership that and what their mindset is right now. Do all things eventually come to an end? Yeah, probably. Do I think it's now, or do I think it's in 10 years? That is a real tough one to answer for sure. We know what Lou Lamoriello has meant to this organization, and certainly they're going through some rough times right now. And yeah, I mean, the elephant in the room, and it's no hidden secret if anybody in the hockey world that they're aging a little bit. They don't have enough skilled forwards. I think they're real good on the back end going forward. I think they're real good in goal going forward with Schneider and Kincaid. But it's not going to turn overnight. 30 goal scorers don't grow on trees, and you have to develop that through the draft, and they're not as deep as they would like to be on the farm, certainly. But it's an interesting one, Scotty, and certainly a fair question. Very difficult one for me to answer. I don't know how what is going on in the minds of the owners. I know they have great support for Lou Lamoriello, and I'm sure he did have the the power to hire a guy. But I agree. I mean, it wasn't a fair situation with what the team is going through right now. You bring in a guy, I think it would have been suicide for some coach to come in out of the blue, a guy not familiar with the situation and the players. And, everybody wants an opportunity, but I think that, again, buys them some time. And it'll be interesting, Scotty, to see which direction, in fact, ownership goes in the future. And that's, like I said, a tough one for me to answer.
No, Ken, I wasn't asking as much as if he would be fired. I wasn't clear. More that maybe he would decide that it was time for him to step down. That I think is the question that people are wondering.
Yeah, no, I think guys. I mean, is it in the back of Lou's mind? Possibly, but knowing Lou, and he's a young 71, 72 years old. He wants to finish what he started or what he built here, and maybe he has a plan, and maybe he plans on being here a little bit longer. Like I said, that's between him and the owners, but or the fact that maybe you're right. And I'm not hearing a lot of grumblings on that, and Lou will never tell you that, as you guys know. But, I know this has been trying times. You can see it on him, and it's been tough. He's such a positive guy. That's what people don't realize. As menacing a man as he can be, and certainly intimidating to players, and, having been with him this long, he's going to be nothing but positive on the bench. That's what he is. He wants these guys to believe in themselves again and get their confidence. And yes, are they missing some horses to be successful? That's the obvious. But he's going to be very positive with them. But he does seem a little bit down. I shouldn't say down, but a little beaten here with what's gone on. But I know very positive. You saw him patting guys on the back of the bench in New York, and he just wants guys to feel better about themselves. Lou is a very loyal man. He's a caring man, as much as some people don't see that at times. And that's an interesting question, though, guys. I don't know if that's in the back of his mind, and I would assume we'll find that out in the next 6 to 8 weeks here.
New Jersey analyst Ken Daneyko is with us on Hockey Central at noon. New Jersey hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight with Lou Lamoriello running the bench in conjunction with Scott Stevens and Adam Oates. Is this then an internal competition between Oates and Stevens to be the next head coach?
Is this an internal competition? Wow, that's a good one.
Well, if not that, then how about this? Can you have a situation where you don't have a true head coach, but you have two co-coaches?
Well, again, we go back to unique. I think moving forward, eventually, no, they're going to want one man in charge for sure. But if there's guys that can work together, it's these three guys right now with the way the situation is. And Adam Oates and Scott Stevens, they're familiar with each other. Adam Oates having some head coaching experience there in Washington, even though it didn't work out the way he would have liked it, obviously. But I think moving forward, no, there's going to be a main man eventually. Probably not this season. That's my guess. These two guys will just do their job. They're very professional, and if Lou Lamoriello decides to retain one of them or whoever moving forward has that decision, like you guys mentioned, who knows? But I would think that they'll be very understanding. But yeah, I think if you have any competitiveness, any fire. Like Scott Stevens certainly does, and Adam Oates, two great players and Hall of Famers, they're probably thinking that way a little bit. I mean, that's a fair assessment.
Before we let go in the New Jersey Devils,
I just wanted to ask, Ken, do you think that Scott Stevens is ready to coach full time?
Oh boy, I'm one of those guys in belief that I don't necessarily say you need all this experience. You've been in hockey for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Of your life, and are you capable? I believe so. I know a lot of people in the media and around the National Hockey League, well, you need experience. You need a guy that knows how to run a bench, how to change lines. But I'm not a believer in that totally. It all depends on the situation. So do I think Scott Stevens is ready? I think he could be. Mm-hmm. There's no question about it. If that's the path he wants to choose, he's very respected. For me, the only thing would be is and I'm seeing it a lot better than maybe I anticipated, is the communication factor. We know you have to understand your personalities. It's not like the old days where you treat everybody the same. It's who you have to give a hug, who you have to kick in the butt. But Scott Stevens is a very intelligent guy. He's a student of the game. So if that's the route they go, and he will have that instant respect. There's no doubt about it, because he'll just give one stare and players will understand what he expects of them. So that's an interesting one, certainly. Again, without the experience, I'm not necessarily saying he couldn't be a head coach right now, but time will tell here. Time will tell here if he's ready for that. But just the presence, to me, is an important factor as a head coach as well. Scott Stevens would certainly bring that.